Hi doctors, this video is about toxicology lectures. We have already completed part 1 and part 2. In part 1 and part 2 we have discussed about classification of poisons, law which is related to toxicology, and about some of corrosive poisons we have discussed. And this part we are mainly going to discuss about some metallic poisons. Within all the metals, let's start with mercury poison, mercury or quicksilver. Now coming to the poison, most poisonous mercury chloride, which is also called as calomel. So most poisonous of mercury is mercury chloride, and this causes nephropathy in acute poisoning. How this poison is acts? Actually, the mercuric ion binds with sulfhydryl group of enzymes and cellular proteins, also to nucleic acids and mitotic apparatus. So that will interfere with enzyme and cellular transport functions. So it is rapidly converted to mercuric ions in the blood, which can lead to renal tubular damage. Also, in central nervous system, mercury acts mainly upon cerebellum and temporal lobe. So this can be asked in MCQ. Proximal convoluted tubules are most commonly damaged in mercury poisoning. Also it causes greyish white color discoloration over mucous membranes. Coming to the chronic poisoning of mercury, this is also called as hydrargyrism. So hydrargyrism is nothing but chronic mercury poisoning. And here the symptoms are excessive salivation, Hatter shakes or Danbury or Glowes shake, which means it mainly affects cerebellum and corpus callosum and temporal lobe, so that tremors occurs in chronic mercury poison. So they are called as Hatter shake poison, Danbury tremor or glass-blower shake. And this Danbury tremors occurs first in the hands, then progresses to lips and tongue, and finally involves arms and legs. Also, the advanced condition is called Hatter shakes or glass-blower shakes, because they are common in persons working in glass blowing and hat industries. Next, mercurial erethism. This is seen in persons working with mercury in mirror fracturing firms. And acrodynia or pink disease. What is that? That is nothing but generalized body rash, and this is thought to be an idiosyncratic hypersensitivity reaction, mainly seen in chronic mercury exposure. Here rashes are mainly seen in hands, feet, and hands and feet may become puffy, pinkish and painful. Even paresthesia can be seen. Next, mercurial lentis. That is a peculiar eye change due to exposure to vapor of mercury. Here, brownish deposit of mercury through the cornea on anterior lens capsule is visible. This can be visible in slit lamp examination. Next comes diphtheritic colitis or bacillary dysentery and Minimata disease. What is Minimata disease? Minimata disease is a type of organic mercurial poisoning due to eating of fish which are poisoned with mercury. So here the points to be remembered is excessive salivation, Hatter shake poison, Danbury tremor, glass blower shake, and acrodynia or pink disease. Please remember, this is not pink teeth, but this is pink disease. And mercurial lentis and diphtheritic colitis and Minimata disease. This Minimata disease have been asked in so many competitive exams. That is nothing but this is a disease which is caused by eating the fish which is poisoned with mercury. Now let's talk about arsenic. Metallic arsenic is not poisonous as it is not absorbed from the alimentary canal. So metallic arsenic is not poisonic. And most common form of arsenic poison is arsenic oxide or arsenic trioxide. And gaseous form of arsenic is arsine, and inorganic arsenic is highly toxic. Next comes to important things, Scheele's green and Paris green. This is also important MCQ note. What is Scheele's green? That is nothing but copper arsenite. So copper arsenite is also called as Scheele's green, and Paris green copper acetoarsenite. Next, how it is working, this is also interferes with cell metabolism by combines with sulfhydryl enzymes. As we have discussed already, this is Paris green and Scheele's green. Now, acute and chronic poisoning. Acute arsenic poisoning. Acute arsenic poisoning symptoms will resembles like cholera and it has garlicky odor. Also, arsenic is radio opaque and this distributed rapidly. This poison is distributed to all parts but does not causes blood brain barrier. Still, trace amounts are can be we can get in trace amounts from brain also, and this is found in all parts like nails, bones, even in hair. You can get a MCQ like this, which of the following poison can be found even in hair, and the answer is arsenicum. But it does not causes blood brain barrier, that also you have to remember because exception is always important. And in arsenic poisoning, mainly death is usually occurs due to circulatory failure. And 0.1 to 0.2 gram of arsenic trioxide is considered as a fatal dose. Now let's talk about chronic poisoning. Chronic poisoning of arsenic. Here hyperkeratotic palms and soles we can get, and raindrop pigmentation, and that is also this chronic skin poisoning or chronic symptoms of chronic arsenic poisoning are considered as a pre-malignant condition of squamous cell carcinoma. Measlines. What is measlines? That is nothing but a transverse white striae which can be seen over the nails. And in arsenic poisoning we can get Glovenstock paresthesis. What is that? Polyneuritis and painful paresthesias. And this poisoning will cause red velvet stomach. Also, chronic arsenic poisoning causes hemorrhage over endocardium, and that will be expressed as subendocardial hemorrhage of left ventricle. Also, you can get symptoms of Blackfoot disease. What is Blackfoot disease? That is nothing but blackish discoloration of foot, which comes as a result of gangrene. As we have already discussed, the persons will be affected by polyneuritis and painful paresthesias, so that will be progress towards Blackfoot disease. And the important point, this arsenic poison delays rigor mortis and retards putrefaction. And the test to found arsenic poison is Marsh test and Raines test. Here the important things to remember is garlicky odor, and it does not causes blood brain barrier, and this is found in all parts. This is most important. And coming towards chronic poisoning, the things to remember is hyperkeratotic palms and soles, raindrop pigmentation, measlines, red velvet stomach, and Blackfoot disease. And the last but not the least, delays rigor mortis and retards putrefaction. And finally, this test is also had been asked in one exam. Which of the following test can be used for detecting arsenic poisoning? And the answer is Marsh and Raines test. So now we know that arsenic poison resists decomposition or putrefaction. Is there any other poison causes resist putrefaction? Yes, they are arsenic, alcohol, carbolic acid, and datura. Arsenic, alcohol, carbolic acid, and datura. AACD, arsenic, alcohol, carbolic acid, and datura. Now this is the final essence of arsenic poison. A for, here the mnemonic is arsenic. A for Aldrich measline, R for raindrop pigmentation or red velvet stomach, S for subendocardial hemorrhage, E for excessive pigmentation, N for neuritis, which is polyneuritis and paresthesia, I for this is an antidote, iron oxide plus BAL, and C for acute poisoning will resembles cholera. So arsenic is a mnemonic for arsenic poisoning. As we have already discussed, leathery stomach seen in carbolic acid poison, velvet stomach arsenic poison, scalded appearance of stomach mucosa oxalic acid poison, and blotting paper like stomach sulfuric acid. So we have completed arsenic poisoning. Now lead poisoning. This is a heavy steel grey metal, and and the most common poison is lead acetate, and the lead compound which is seen in paints is lead carbonate, and least toxic is plumbum sulfide, PBS, lead sulfide or plumbum sulfide. So most common poison lead acetate, least toxic lead sulfide, and the compound which is seen in paint is lead carbonate. But most common form of arsenic poison is arsenic trioxide, and most poisonous mercury is mercury chloride. But here we are discussing about lead, and the most common is lead acetate and least toxic is lead sulfide. Next, coming towards the signs, which is the most consistent sign of lead poisoning, facial pallor, and earliest sign of lead poisoning is microcytic hypochromic anemia, and late sign of lead poisoning abdominal pain and constipation. So most consistent facial pallor, early anemia, late abdominal pain and constipation. So you can get a question like this: which anemia can be seen in lead poisoning? Microcytic and hypochromic. Now the image which you can see in this slide is Burtonian line, which is due to lead sulfide, that is least toxic but causes Burtonian line. And chronic lead poisoning is called as satanism or plumbism. Also this poison will cause nervous affections like lead palsy, foot drop or wrist drop. Even the lead lines can be seen in X-ray of long bones, mainly in metaphyseal region. And the diagnosis is increase more than 0.25 milligram per liter of carboporphyrin in urine is considered as the diagnosis for lead poisoning. So here we can have mnemonic for to remember lead poisoning: A, B, C, D, E, F. A for anemia and amenorrhea, B for basophilic stippling or Burtonian line, C for constipation or colic, D for drop, which is wrist drop, foot drop or anything, E for encephalopathy, F for facial pallor. So please remember the mnemonic A, B, C, D, E, F. Is there any other metals can cause blue line on the gums? Yes. Other than lead, we can have argentum, bismuth, copper, mercury and iron. How can we remember this? The mnemonic is Iron Lady Miss ABC. Iron Lady Miss ABC is blue. Iron Lady Miss ABC is blue, which means for blue line on gums. Iron for iron, lady for lead, which is plumbum, iron for Fe, iron. Miss for mercury, A for argentum, B for bismuth and C for copper. So Iron Lady Miss ABC will cause blue line on gums. Now let's discuss an MCQ. Which one is matched correctly? Cadmium, Minimeta, arsenic, blackfoot, mercury, skeletal fluorosis and fluoride ita disease. As we have discussed already, arsenic blackfoot disease, this is considered as correct match. And cadmium ita disease, mercury will cause Minimeta disease, fluoride will cause skeletal fluorosis. Here we have already discussed arsenic and mercury, so we can easily exclude cadmium and fluoride. So we have to answer like this exception or eliminating process. Next comes copper poisoning. In copper poisoning, everything will be looks like blue. For example, blue, this is called as blue vitriol. What is called as blue vitriol? Copper sulfide. And Corrigan sign, what is that? Purple line on the gums. As we have discussed already, copper will cause blue line, that they have given that only here. So that is called as Corrigan sign. Also this copper poisoning will cause bluish discoloration over the mucosa, and this will cause vineyard sprayer's lung. What is that? The workers which are working in vineyard field, they may get some lung affections because of spraying the cupric sulfide. So that is called as vineyard sprayer's lung disease. Next comes zinc. Coming to the zinc, this will cause metal fume fever, which means the influenza like illnesses can be seen in case of zinc poisoning. So that is called as metal fume fever. Also this may mimics malaria. Thallium, this will resembles Guillain-Barré syndrome. Next, cadmium, as we have already discussed, this will cause ittai disease or ouch disease, and mainly teeth discoloration we can get, that is golden yellow teeth, and chalky white teeth is seen in arsenic poisoning, and yellow white teeth seen in cadmium. So rest of the metallics we will be covering in next class. Thank you so much. And another one important thing, if you want to see part 1 and part 2 toxicology, you can go to the description and you can get the link. Also, if you want to follow us on social media, we are giving our profile in description, you can follow that. Thank you.